How bad are Eddie's farts?
Previously.
Oh my god, that's so bad. I'm saving that up for the whole walk down here. Oh, we got back here, we get up and
Oh man, that was horrible. What was your favorite video to film? I'm really curious. This is a great question because there have been a lot of videos that have been very fun to film overall. Off the top of my head right now, I am going to say the first Planet Fitness video that we did with Juju Mufu. I was really nervous at that point about filming the video. We thought about, you know, the setup and what we were going to do. We took the, you know, the pizzas and had the pizza boxes with the Planet Fitness stickers, had the bag. So we kind of had it all planned out. And we were, at least I was worried about getting kicked out of the Planet Fitness, which we ended up getting kicked out of the first one, had to go to a second one. So we definitely had to put some work into making that video happen, but I feel like it came out really good. A lot of people enjoyed it, and that was the channel's first real, I would say, viral video. Was that first Planet Fitness one. So that's a special video, and you know, off the top of my head, there's a lot of videos that were very fun to film, but if I had to pick one right now at this moment, I would say that one. Was there ever a time where you felt like completely throwing in the towel during your career? If so, what kept you going? I have faced several different things that were big challenges, that were an obstacle that I had to overcome in my career. Thinking back, probably one of the biggest ones was when I had the nerve damage in my arm at the end of 2012 into the beginning of 2013. That was a very, very debilitating thing. I basically lost function of my hand and my fingers, and you know, it was a big deal that I had to overcome. But even during that time, I never thought about really throwing in the towel. I was just constantly thinking about what was my next step forward? How was I going to stay positive through the situation? How was I going to fight to come back? Those were the things that I focused on. I really never thought about throwing in the towel. And, you know, there's been other situations that have certainly been challenging for me to overcome and fight through, but I can't say that I ever thought about throwing in the towel. If you're going through something and you're asking this because you have a challenge in front of you, and you're maybe thinking about, you know, giving up or whatever, what I would say is focus on a positive, even if it's something very, very small, and then the next day try to find another thing that's positive, the next day find another thing that's positive, and that will keep you moving forward. And then you can set small goals and essentially work yourself back from this point. And that's what I did with myself. It worked pretty well, and I was able to fight back and get back on top. So it is definitely something that can be tough, you know, to work through mentally and physically, depending on if it's an injury or something like that. But stay positive and you can overcome almost anything. Don't you get uncomfortable in public when people stare at you? Well, people have been staring at me pretty much my entire life, because when I was in high school, I was taller, and I thought I was big back then, but I was definitely not as big as what I thought I was. And then I just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I guess more people have stared over the years, but I actually take it as a compliment. I'm not worried about it. Carrie is not worried about it when we're out in public. She's very used to it now. And most people that are staring at me are staring at me because they know who I am, and they end up coming and saying hi, and it turns into a really good thing. So I'm definitely not worried about it. What is the most enjoyable / rewarding feeling that you have from hosting the Shaw Classic? The Shaw Classic was a whirlwind, and I would say the most enjoyable / rewarding thing from that contest was the reaction from the athletes, the reaction from the fans. There was a couple moments in the contest where I was just kind of standing back, looking at the crowd, looking at the competitors, and just kind of trying to take it all in because there was a lot of stress for me overall, and those moments were special, and that's kind of what I took away from it and tried to kind of latch on to and hold on to. But the contest was amazing overall. It was very special to have such an elite group of strongmen together competing in all those events, and that's probably my biggest takeaway from the Shaw Classic. Hypothetically speaking, if Hafthor ever got back into strongman, would you invite him to the Shaw Classic? I would say yes, and the reason for that is Hafthor actually got an invite to the first Shaw Classic in 2020. This was around where he had done his deadlift, and I'd announced the thing with the boxing with Eddie, but I still said, hey, you're a great strongman. I want to have the best competitors that I possibly can, so you're getting an invite. At that point, he was going into boxing training, so he turned it down. But if he were to get back into strongman and get competitive again with it, it is definitely something where he would get an invite to come out here and compete. What are your thoughts on Thor versus Larrett? I know this might sound bad, but I don't really have any thoughts. I'm not really that excited about it. I don't think I'm going to watch. I'm actually more excited about the strongman contests that are happening this weekend, and watching the guys and how they perform, that type of stuff. At the end of the day, I'm a fan of strongman. Not that I haven't watched boxing before or don't appreciate it, but when it comes to this, I was looking forward to watching Hafthor and Eddie go at it, but I just, for whatever reason, I'm not very excited about the Thor versus Devin Larrett. But hopefully people don't get upset by that, but I'm just telling you the truth. What was it like to be competing with Zydrunas again? It was kind of surreal in a lot of ways. It's been a few years since Zydrunas and I have been in the same contest competing against one another. And I remember lining up with the flags because there's a lot of different contests we did through our career, and we're always right by each other with, Savickas and Shaw, our last names. They typically put you out in alphabetical order based on your last name. So that was pretty cool, lining up again and walking out with him in that moment, obviously getting to compete with him after our, careers, our rivalry, all of that. So it was really cool. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the hardest feat of strength you've ever done, how easy was it to lift Jimmy and his friends in that car? So I'm sure you're referring to the video that I did with MrBEAST. And I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, since I think I did 10 reps with the car, I'd probably have to put that as number 1 being the hardest, number 10 not being the hardest. I would say that was probably an 8 or 9 since I did 10 reps with it. I could have lifted a lot heavier, but based on the fact we were out in the middle of a field and I didn't get much warm up for that, it did increase the difficulty level a little bit. It was fun to be out there. I don't think they were expecting me to maybe be able to lift it, but also I definitely don't think they were thinking that I was going to do reps with it. And since at that point I was training for World's Strongest Man and I was on the road, I needed to actually get a training session. So I said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to pull this thing for some reps once I started. 10 reps seemed to be the right number to go after, so I went after it and ended up getting 10. So that was a lot of fun, and I think all those guys were really surprised that I was able to do it that many times. Now, a follow-up question to the video that I did with MrBEAST is, what did you do with the Camaro MrBEAST gave you? I know you can't fit in it. You are correct in the fact that I couldn't fit in it. Obviously, if you guys watched the video, you saw that my head was above the windshield and I had a little bit of a struggle getting into the car. So based on that fact, what Jimmy did was he actually gave me the cash value of the car and just said, I'm essentially giving you the car, but I'm just giving you the cash for it since you can't fit in the car. So I felt like that was pretty cool of him. I had a great time doing that video with him and his team. We had a really good time. I think they really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So that is why you have not seen the Camaro anywhere. And if it was a car that I fit in, we probably would have done a different video involving that car just for fun. But yeah. I had a great time, and he definitely did take care of me, and I really appreciated it. What would be some advice for someone looking to start a business? I would say the biggest advice that I could give you if you're looking to start a business is to go into business doing something that you love, something that you're passionate about. Also, it's okay to start very, very small. So, for example, I had the idea of doing the Shaw strength shirts and clothing very early on, and I literally had to save up money to print 24 of the shirts. I wanted to walk in and be able to print like, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and the minimum that I had to print was 24. So I saved up my money, and I said, I don't know who is gonna want these shirts, and if I'm even gonna be able to sell them or give them away or whatever, but I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna start small, and then that eventually led to me doing another shirt, a different color. And this is all, something that took a long time, but I was passionate about it, I was excited about it, and then it eventually grew into where, I kind of had a room that it was taken over, and then we had an office that was taken over, and then we had to move into a bigger space, and there's more and more shirts, more and more designs, and it's just kind of grown and grown and grown. And now I'm able to literally travel around the world and meet different people, see different people, wearing Shaw Strength shirts or wearing Evolution shirts. It's just really, really cool to, see that progression over basically the last, I guess I printed the first shirts in 2006. So from 2006 to now 2021, it's been a lot of progression and a lot of change over those years. But when you're getting into business, keep that in mind. You don't have to go from 0 to 100. You can start very small and just, put your passion into it. Now there's a lot more tools out there for you to get your idea out to the public with social media and different things like that. So utilize those tools, but again, if you're passionate about something and you have a business idea, I would say go after it and work as hard as you possibly can. How do you deal with the day in and day out demand of training, nutrition, and recovery when you're a dad? I'm a new dad myself, and I'm starting to get a little ambivalent about training strongman with my little one at home. This is a question that I've got from a lot of different dads out there, and especially when you're a new dad, this is something you do have to deal with because it is a new factor to your daily life. So you need to prioritize your time. That's the biggest thing that I had to learn being a new dad, is that there are responsibilities being a dad that you have to handle. You need to help your wife out with different things, different tasks. At the beginning, you definitely feel a little bit helpless because, your wife is doing so much for the baby, but there are different things that you can step up and do, to help out. And this is something that, Carrie and I had to work through when I was going to train, what time of day would be the best for my training to happen. all of these type of things. So if you work that out with your wife and your team, that's the best way to approach it. When you walk in the gym, you have to prioritize your time again a little bit better. So you may not be able to waste as much time if you were wasting more time before. You may have to get in, get to work, get the job done, and then get out. But you can make this happen, and it's something that is an adjustment, but it's very, very fun. And believe me, especially after your son or daughter is a little bit older, it's going to be even cooler because they're going to start to watch you working out, watch you doing different things. They're going to try to, possibly replicate things that you're doing without you even knowing about it. So it's a very, very fun thing. And in this period, if you just learn to prioritize your time and make the most of every single hour and minute in the day, it can be a very, very good thing, and hopefully you're able to navigate that course. It's something I had to work through myself, and like I said, when you've got a great partner in life, it can be something that can easily be worked out and you can figure out. So hopefully that helps. What inspires you to get up and work like you do every day besides family and your success? I would say for me, I am a very goal-oriented person. I like challenges. I like to have a lot on my plate, a lot of things that I have to get done. And that's just the way that I've kind of always been. So yes, my family is a motivating factor. Going after my goals is a motivating factor. Trying to be the best that I possibly can be at life, business, being a dad, being a husband, all of these different things, those motivate me as well. So, it's kind of a combination of a lot of things, but I enjoy being busy. I enjoy having all of these things on my plate that I am responsible for, I need to handle, and it drives me to push myself even harder. I'm very, very competitive. I always have been very competitive, and as a competitive person and competitive individual, I really like those challenges, and so I kind of approach each and every day. It's a little bit different. I never have to do the same thing, kind of day in and day out, because I've got different, meetings or things that need to be accomplished, whatever. But each day is unique, and I like that as well. A lot of people don't necessarily function that way. But for me, it's something that I enjoy attacking and I enjoy going after.